All right, good afternoon or evening, depending on where you're joining us from. Welcome to the Virtual College Exploration for all Illinois students, sponsored by the Illinois Association for College Admission Counseling and StriveScan. Again, thank you for coming this evening to learn more about William Woods University. Just a few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button at the bottom or top of your screen to ask questions to our presenters at any time throughout this presentation. Your camera and microphone are off because we are in webinar mode. So again, please make sure you use that Q&A because our panelists cannot see or hear you. And then this is just one of many different sessions happening over the next few weeks. So please feel free to check out IACAC.org if you'd like to sign up for any additional sessions. On that same website, again, IACAC.org, a recording of this session will be available within the next week or so if you'd like to pass this information along to anyone else or again, access it. So at this time, I'd like to go ahead and turn it over to our presenters. Have a wonderful presentation.
Thank you, Sylvia. Okay, good evening, guys, or afternoon, as Sylvia was saying, depending on where you're at. We very much appreciate you joining our webinar this evening as we discuss William Woods University. So this picture right here, I always like to talk about this. This is our beautiful Delaney Auditorium. It's sort of the highlight, one of the many highlights to our campus university. So we hold many events here. They hold theater and main stage events. And behind it is the art gallery, one of my favorite spots. I'm sure we'll talk about that throughout the presentation. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. I'll briefly introduce myself. Again, my name is Trevor White. I am the St. Louis Regional Representative for William Woods University. My contact information is here, and I always tell students, make sure you use your admission counselor. They're a great resource in your college search. So shoot them an email, give them a text or a call, and I know for me, I'm always glad to help in the college search. I've been working with Illinois students since 2018. I did include our Instagram handle here, WW Admissions, if you wanted to give us a follow and check out, get a more in-depth look at William Woods University. And so with that, I will pass it over to Juliette Ritzman, who is one of our admission counselors focusing on equestrian science.
Hello, everybody. So I'm Juliette. I'm also a 2009 alumni from William Woods with a Bachelor's of Science in Equine Administration. I have a master's and currently working on a doctorate, so education is really important to me. But it's more about education. I think it's about expanding your horizons. Just brief history on my equine background. I started late. I am actually a military veteran, and I just found this was a great way to transition my skill sets into a unique and very pertinent industry. So you don't actually have to have started with the equine background, but it does help a lot. And I like to think of myself as a coach, teacher, and mentor. You may have heard that before. So as Trevor said, really rely on your admissions faculty and staff. We help coach you through the process. We teach if we need to, and mainly as a mentor, your go-to person for anything you don't want to ask your parents or not sure if you should ask the questions. I'm pretty sure we can find the answers for you. So that's a little bit about me.
All right. So Juliette, I'll let you talk about Fulton and more about our university.
So Fulton is basically small town USA, just like you see there in the picture. It's kind of hard for some people to believe that, but it's very quaint. It's easily accessible. If you're in the shopping like me on your time off, this is the place to go, but there's more than shopping. There's rural America. It's just pretty easy, feel good place to access, safe. If your parents are worried about safety, definitely safe. Other communities that you can get to if you have a car or you have friends that have cars. In addition to William Woods, then you have the Missouri School for the Deaf, which is one of the top 3 in the nation for American Sign Language. And then if you want to go into the bigger cities, either into Kansas City or St. Louis, then you have the arts, you have sports, go Royals. Some of you might be Cardinals fans out there. Sorry about that. But anyways, we do produce some pretty good teams. And I'd like to say we're doing awfully well with the Chiefs. And then, of course, the question competitions, which I can talk about later. But back to that small town vibe and the historic brick district, it's just it's family is what it is. And I think Trevor will agree, Fulton's a good fit.
Yeah. Yeah, I grew up in Fulton, not too far, outside of Fulton, about 15 minutes. And I really enjoy Fulton. It's definitely a small town, but it's got a lot to offer. And, obviously William Woods is located there. There's another college. So there's a close community connection. The Brick District, which you see in this picture, it's within walking distance of our campus. So it's, old architecture, cobblestone roads. It's a really cool just piece to our campus community. So about William Woods, so we have a total student population of right around 1,000 students. We do have graduate and online students. So, that sort of talks about the total student population. In terms of undergrad students that you would be potentially going to school with, you're looking at right around 1,000 students. So it's going to be a small college. Average class size is about 15 with student faculty ratios 13-1. And then you have a lot of clubs, organizations to get involved in. Over 50, they can range from the Hands Up Club, as Julia was mentioning with our ASL degree, to Sustaining the Woods, which is a recycling club, to it could be a collegiate DECA team, which is something I'll talk about a little bit later. We are a private liberal arts university, but we're a professions-oriented university as well. And so I describe that sort of it's a combination between a liberal arts and then with that you have the professions oriented degree. So we really do a nice job of making sure that you learn the skills that are going to be directly applied to what your career is going to be in. So that, as we've mentioned a couple times, it could be an American Sign Language degree. It could be your equestrian science degree, which Juliette is going to talk about a little bit later. Could be business, where you're participating in presentations that we have on campus. Maybe you're doing an internship with a local, local business with State Farm or Edward Jones. So we really provide skills within each degree program that we have that are going to set you up for success immediately after you graduate. We have over 60 majors and minors to choose from. We're going to talk about some of our more popular majors, but if you're an undecided student, or you're thinking about a specific degree, let us know in the Q&A, and we can talk about that degree program towards the end. We get students from all over the United States and around the world. So even though we are a smaller campus community, you're going to have the opportunity to interact with a lot of different types of students. And so we get a good amount of students coming from Illinois. Actually, the most out-of-state students that we have on our campus come from Illinois. And so, it provides that opportunity for students to have a little bit of independence coming from Illinois, where you're coming to, across state lines, and you're having a little bit further of a drive to get home, but you're also still within a 6-hour radius to get home. So it's a good location. With that, so, talking about that individual attention that we're going to be able to provide as a small liberal arts institution, you're going to get individual attention in all of your classes. Professors are going to know you. They're going to know what your strengths are. They're going to know how to help you. You're going to be able to approach them with questions, or if you just want to chat with them, go to lunch with them even. They're going to want to get to know you. We're a student-centered university, and so the professors are their main focus while they're at William Woods is to help you through your college degree, and that's going to be beneficial for you as you work towards graduation, but they're also going to be a good connection for you to have as you start to apply for jobs and think about your plans after graduation. I always like to highlight the mentor-mentee opportunity that you can work with our faculty at our university. And so if you want to take part in a research opportunity at William Woods, you can do that. So maybe an example I always talk about is last year we had an ASL student, an American Sign Language major, and she wanted to work with a business faculty and just providing a more inclusive, ideas and opportunities for ASL students to get into the business world. And so through that process, she worked with business faculty and our marketing department as well, so that we can start to our marketing materials to provide closed captioning and provide more assistance in that regard. And other examples, you could be a criminal justice major and you want to work with a social work department. Depending on what you want to do, the faculty, again, the whole idea is they want to help you achieve your goals and work towards that graduation and providing a good resume for you. This is our president, President Barnett. She's been president since the 1990s. So if you ever have a chance to talk with her, I always recommend talking with her and hearing her stories. She's always got something interesting to talk about. Another organization that we have on campus is the President's 20, where you can work directly with President Barnett. It's a professional development group, and it just helps with the campus engagement community at William Woods. We are a residential campus community, so we have about 80% of students living on campus all 4 years. So you're going to have campus housing available to you, a meal plan as well. So if you are coming from Illinois, maybe you're coming from the Chicago area, then there's going to be plenty of options for you to have that home on our campus. And then I'll talk about athletics. So we are an NAIA Division I athletic institution. We participate in the AMC conference. So, it's sort of centrally located around the St. Louis area, but out of the conference season, we'll compete against teams from Illinois and all across the Midwest. A couple nationally ranked teams, looking back the last couple of years. Tennis is always nationally ranked. Golf is also nationally ranked. Last year, women's basketball was ranked, I think, at the height, top 20 in the nation for NAIA athletics. So, there's several good sports teams to take part of at William Woods University. And if you're not interested in sports, that's fine. The sporting events are usually well attended, whether it be a volleyball game in the fall, assuming we get back to somewhat normal times after COVID is done, or, a basketball game over the winter, or a baseball game in the spring semester, or a softball game. They're always well attended and provide a good opportunity to have that campus engagement. About 40% of our student population are student athletes. If you are thinking about, playing sports at the collegiate level, get in touch with myself or Juliette. We can make that connection with coach. We have a prospect form on our website. We can also start with an application and make a connection to the coaching staff that way. GPA, each sport team that we have, they have a GPA of above a 3.25 GPA. 6 sports teams have a GPA of above a 3.5, and the women's tennis team actually last year led all of NAIA with a 3.94 GPA. So obviously, we're successful on the court or on the field, but also in the classroom. And that's, again, going back to that individual attention that our students are getting in their classrooms. Juliette, I'll let you talk about the unique opportunities at William Woods.
So Woods Around the World is something that I would like to partake in. Too bad I'm not a student anymore or a chaperone, but I know they've gone to at least 15, if not 20 different countries. Of course, COVID is kind of putting a cramp on some of that, but it's not for free, that's for sure. But there is a way to fund it. And so basically, when you go to our website, you can learn which country you're going to, and then also get involved through your teacher and work out the best way for incorporating it into your studies. As far as service learning, I might have to skip over that and let you talk about that, Trevor, but career services, we have a program here within our admissions building where basically it is going in and talking and getting advice on what are some career services post your degree and where you'd like to be to make sure that you're set up for success. The mentor-mentee program, Trevor already discussed. The Freshman Advantage happens in the spring, and it gives you an opportunity to kind of get a preview of what to expect for coming to college. It is a big step for some people, the whole notion of going away from family, traveling, living alone, living apart, meeting new people. But by the end of that Freshman Advantage, which I believe is 3 weeks, it pretty much guarantees that you're probably going to like what you're doing, and now you're ready to take the next step. The honors program is exactly what it sounds like as far as applying and being eligible to be part of an honors program. And if I say things off for Trevor, it's just because I'm recent to the admin program, so some things I don't have totally memorized. And then the Masters Plus One program is a phenomenal program that I wish I'd had when I was here. Basically, after getting your 4-year degree, by committing to 1 more year, then you finish up with the master's degree, which is phenomenal. That's hardly ever heard of, to get a bachelor's and a master's within 5 years or less, depends on how well you do. So some of those opportunities are with a Master of Business Education, Master of Health Education, Master's of Education, and then a Master's in Organizational Leadership. Did you want to go back to service learning?
Yeah, the +1 degree is a really cool opportunity for students thinking about, what they want to do after they graduate. And so basically how it works, as Julia was saying, is you're going to start your master's classes in that 4th year. And so you could be, for example, I'll start with a business administration. You could be a psychology major or a criminal justice or whatever you're thinking for a minor in business. And you can start with your MBA in that 4th year. So basically as a senior, you can do it with on ground classes in the evenings or online. And so you're going to be sort of in that 4th year, you're going to be both a bachelor's and a master's student. And then you have the opportunity to finish up in that 5th year. So as Julia was saying, you're going to have, if you go through that program, you're going to have a bachelor's and a master's degree by the time you're 22, 23 years old. And you're going to have a lot of options for what you want to do, after you graduate. That's nice because, the tuition is going to be the same in that 4th year. And then it's going to be a savings of about 60% of your total tuition if you go with that +1 degree. We did just add a new master's degree option in organizational leadership. I'm really excited about that. That starts in January. And so while the business administration degree is more general business focused, the organizational leadership is going to be more human centered. So if you want to interested in working organizational leadership opportunities or human resources, or if you're talking about strategic management, which, as we all look at COVID and the things that happened with that, many businesses had to sort of relook at their business model. So that organizational leadership sort of focuses on the human aspect of business and how you can better lead your organization. I did want to go back to the service learning because it's a really cool opportunity, and it pairs nicely with Woods Around the World. And I'm like Juliette, I love this program. I love talking about it. Last year, this picture at the bottom, you see that's a group of students that visited Antarctica. Actually, in 2018, we were the only college group to visit Antarctica that year. So that was an exciting time for our students and definitely a unique opportunity. And so with the service learning, the total cost for that it varies depending on what the trip is and the cost and flights and where you're going and that type of thing. But the service learning is called Project 123. You do 123 hours of community service, and that gives you a stipend to help cut down the cost on the Woods Around the World. And so basically the Woods Around the World is a study abroad group. It helps students visit up to a dozen countries throughout their 4 years if they choose to do that. You're just visiting for shorter amounts of time. So it's going to be on average about 2 weeks. It's scheduled around breaks that we have on campus during, between class periods. So it could be over Thanksgiving break. It could be over winter break, over summer. It just really depends. So I mentioned Antarctica. Last year they were in India. They had a trip planned to Thailand this spring, but that obviously got rescheduled. And so they do a really nice job of trying, go into different parts of the world and just giving our students an opportunity to just experience other cultures and they bring back the opportunity with them, and they give a presentation to the rest of campus as part of our LEAD program, which I'll talk about a little bit later.
Okay, so for those of you who did not realize, we have an equestrian program, and it's broken down into 3 different undergraduate courses, and then we also have a master's online. And I'm not going to go too in depth into the different courses, but just suffice to say, it addresses pretty much anything that you can think of in the equine industry. The Equine of General Studies is basically an overview of the equine industry, and that would be, say, for example, you want to do pre-vet, which we also offer. So pre-vet with a little bit of focus on the big picture of equine studies. If you're into journalism, if you're into photography, if you're into something that is within the equine industry, but it doesn't have to do with riding or training, that would be your equine general studies. Your equine sciences are the more specifics of the riding, teaching, training, probably managing a barn. And then equine administration is what I did, and that's more the logistical people management side of the house. That was my background, so I felt more comfortable having worked with people, but I knew that I wanted to transition into the equine industry. So for things like Bureau of Land Management, some federal jobs, U.S. Department of Agriculture, those things where you may not be riding horses, but you need to be familiar with the nuances in the industry. The equine administration degree is the way to go in that aspect. What I wanted to highlight here is definitely individual attention from faculty and your equestrian peers, the same way as any of the other studies that you might pick from at William Woods. It's open door policy. So the other day when we were getting pictures made for me, the director of the equine studies, she was getting the horse ready for me. And you know, it's not because she had to, it's just because she took pride in the program, and so she happened to be the only one that was available. So she fetched the horse and tacked him up and groomed him and made sure that the horse looked great. Extra riding time after classes on the weekends. The picture there at the bottom is one of our new faculty members. And so in addition to getting one-on-one riding experiences, if it comes to that for with an instructor, you can get with your classmates after classes or on the weekends. And that's fabulous because you can't find that anywhere else, even if you could afford private lessons. You also get the opportunity to work with judges directly at shows, professional barns, or when there are shows on campus. And that's how some of the seniors actually get picked up for jobs after their degrees, because they happen to be at the right place at the right time. So it's very much encouraged to be involved as often as possible, because you really never know who's going to come through the campus and who's just going to take a tour. And if they see what they like, then they'll start asking questions, and then next thing you know, you have an interview. So that's actually pretty cool. And then where else can you go to school where you have over 100 horses living with you? Not literally, but they have their own stalls and their own barns, and it's 5 minutes from your dorm, from the classroom, from the parking lot. Most of the equestrian students are in their riding attire, and they run from riding classes to academics. The instructors are all used to it. And I think that actually relieves the stress, because you don't have to worry about getting in the car, driving out to a barn, going to fetch your horse. Everything is there for you, and it runs pretty smoothly. So I can't even highlight enough about how different and unique the equestrian program is here, which is why I'm so excited to be here to help share it.
Yeah, it is such a cool.
Sorry. Lastly, Masters. Masters Online is new. It's been about 5 years, and that's Masters of Education in Equestrian Education. And the reason why it's an education master's instead of business, because they were afraid it might pigeonhole you into just being focused on the equine aspect of a business degree. Whereas this way, you have a master's of education with the focus in equestrian education. So if you want to come back to university to teach, if you want to be the head of a barn, or you know, in the equine industry where you're top level management, and you have that credibility of not only a bachelor's degree but a master's of equestrian education, and that will carry you a long way. So
yeah, it is such a cool program. It's definitely unique. Even, you know, if you want to, as Juliette was saying, but also if you're thinking pre-vet, you're not going to find another small university that you have large animals on campus that you get to work directly with. Center for Equine Medicine it's newly renovated. It's a very impressive facility. We actually have a visit event coming up on Friday and Saturday that's going to highlight that. That's an annual event. So if you want to mark your calendar for next October, maybe if you're a junior this year and you wanted to highlight, you know, try to come down to campus for that event, I would highly recommend it. It's always a really good event, and it really highlights a specific piece to our campus. So yeah, thanks for that, Juliette. So yeah, I wanted to talk about, so obviously we mentioned, you know, we have a lot of different degree programs, majors and minors to go into. And, you know, going back to the liberal arts professions oriented university, is you have the opportunity to take more than one major. So it's common for our students to double major or even add a minor to their degree. And so it's all about building a degree program that you are most interested in so that it follows your path for what you see for your career. But among, you know, equestrian science is one of our more popular degrees. We have a couple other popular degrees I wanted to talk about, but, you know, we have a lot of other degrees too. So if you're looking for a specific degree program, drop it into the Q&A, and we'll get to that at the end and talk more about that specific program. But I wanted to start with exercise sciences. That was for incoming freshmen this year. That was one of our more popular majors for students declaring that major. And so within the exercise science degree, you have a couple different concentrations. You could do sports management, sports coaching, pre-athletic training or pre-physical therapy, sports medicine, physical education. So it's really going to give you sort of a combination of a kinesiology focus and sort of how the body works, or like a sports management. And you could combine those two. You could focus on one or the other. It's really going to give you a nice sort of flexibility for what you're looking for in your career. State-of-the-art human performance center, again, 2 minutes from the freshman residence hall. It's very comparable to larger universities at the Division I level. It has all the technology, all the resources available for our students to use, students and, obviously athletes as well. But again, having that smaller university with the emphasis on the students are going to be able to work with athletes and the like. And so if you are a potential athletic, want to be an athletic trainer, you're going to be able to work directly with our student athletes and making sure that they are going through the proper training protocols, rehabilitation, whatever it might be. You can prepare for strength and conditioning exam to be a certified strength coach after you graduate. There's a lot of internship opportunities going through the exercise science degree. Learfield Sports, St. Louis Cardinals, working with the NAIA, divisional offices, the YMCA, local high school athletic departments, country clubs. There's tons of tons of internship opportunities that our students are able to work with, within the exercise science program. Another popular program is the business administration degree. And so this provides, again, similar to the exercise science, you have a couple different concentrations within that. It could be an accounting concentration, it could be advertising and marketing, economics, entrepreneurial studies. Again, going back to the +1 degree, that's definitely a distinguishing factor for students that want to go into business, and that they could do that at William Woods in just 5 years and get their bachelor's and master's degree. Also, works nicely with the organizational leadership that I was talking about. You could work, so within our business school, you could work with obviously business, but we also have cybersecurity that falls into the business school, management and leadership, management information systems. And so that's sort of the IT focus of the business world, where you're learning about information systems. Maybe you're doing an internship with our IT office, or maybe you have a work study position there, and you're going to learn those skills as you're getting your degree. Our collegiate DECA team is ranked the last 4 years the best DECA team in the state of Missouri, and they compete all around the state at various conferences. They do various business topics, leadership, small business, entrepreneurial studies. They do a little bit of everything, but again, it's a great program, and we've had great success the last 4, going on our 5th year with that program. So we're really looking forward to what this next year brings with that collegiate DECA team. And the other thing with business administration, we have a think tank directly. It's within the Burton Business Building on our campus, and it's right across the hallway from all your faculty offices. And so you could have group presentations there, individual study groups. You're going to be able to work directly with faculty members. Maybe it's, taking part of that mentor-mentee research opportunity. It's just a really cool piece to the Burton Business Building. Education is another popular program that we have on our campus at William Woods University. So we do elementary, middle, and secondary education. Within the secondary education, you have biology, English, social science, theater, and physical education. Educational studies is another degree that falls into the education school and special education. So we have very experienced faculty members. On average, they have about 10 to 15 years of actual classroom teaching experience. So they know how to prepare you for, graduating and stepping right into a teacher position, leading a variety of different types of classes. With that, they have connections to a lot of different school districts around Missouri, around Illinois, and that's going to help you make those connections and help you through that interview process. You can become a Google certified teacher, which is, this process it basically helps teachers understand how to more easily integrate technology within their lessons plans. American Sign Language, we've talked about that a little bit, but we have a couple different sort of paths with this. You could do American Sign Language and interpreting, or you could do American Sign Language Deaf Human Services. Obviously, with the interpreting emphasis, you're going to be able to sit for the national interpreter certification. Deaf Human Services is more being sort of an advocate for the deaf community. And so I compare it to maybe an education or a social work degree. but there is a difference there in that, you're not going to be a certified interpreter, but if you want to work the deaf community, you're going to have the skills to communicate and be an advocate for them. As Julia was saying, the Missouri School for the Deaf is 5 minutes from our campus. We have a close connection with them, so you're going to be able to do definitely internships, work with that school directly, maybe even getting some type of job as you're going through your degree with the Missouri School for the Deaf. Other cool degrees I like to talk about, communication is a really popular degree, especially for students that aren't necessarily, they don't really know what they want to do. Communication covers a lot of different things. It could be digital filmmaking, it could be media journalism, it could be sports communication. I mean, when you think about it, you use communication in whatever career, whatever job, whatever sort of field you're working in. And so that degree can go a lot of different ways. Graphic design is another unique degree that isn't offered at a lot of different places. One of my favorite spots on campus is the Mildred Cox Art Gallery. And so they hold professional art exhibits on campus, student exhibits. And so every time I'm on campus, I stop into the art gallery and just take a look. Right now they have a professional exhibit. It's a mixture between landscape and abstract art. So it's actually on our website. There's a virtual option if you wanted to check that out as well. So just a couple more before we get moving on. Criminal justice is really popular on our campus as well. And so that's a unique degree in that there's a couple of different concentrations with it. And then law enforcement is one of those, homeland security, or you could do mental health and counseling. And so that sort of rolls into describing our social work degree. We have a Rosa Parks Center directly on our campus, so you could work with at-risk youth as part of your degree option as well. So, oh, and then I wanted to talk about the LEAD Award. And so going back to the art gallery, again, we have a professional exhibit on campus right now. You can actually get a LEAD point for going to the art gallery, which is really cool. And you might be asking, what's a LEAD point? So basically the LEAD Award was implemented by President Barnett in the early 2000s as a way to help students get involved on campus and earn some scholarship and gain some skills that are going to be useful to them as they go through their college degree and also throughout their entire life. And so whenever you apply, sort of how this process works, whenever you apply to William Woods and you're accepted, you're automatically awarded this LEAD scholarship for $5,000 per year. It automatically stacks with your merit award. If you're a potential student athlete, then we could stack athletic scholarships within that as well. There's 1 or 2 LEAD events every single day. So again, it really drives home the opportunity for students to get involved. Going back to the liberal arts emphasis that we have at William Woods, you're obviously going to go to class and you're going to work towards your degree in whatever field it's going to be, but you're also going to want to get involved outside of class. And so that, again, going to the art gallery, going to a sporting event, going to, working out, playing Frisbee golf. I just saw today they had a LEAD event for doing a hiking event on campus actually. And so you just go out, get some friends together, you go and participate this, and then you get a LEAD point for that. So it's a really cool opportunity and definitely helps with our campus engagement. So.
And Trevor, I just wanted to add to that. I was a non-traditional student, commuter student, but I was offered the scholarship too, and I was actually glad. I mean, there were times I was tired, but because the whole emphasis for me was forces, but this gave me a great opportunity to learn more about the campus and learn more about, like you said, the art gallery and the sports. So it's a great way to be well-rounded and to get a big picture of what William Woods offers.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and again, if you ever have a chance to talk with President Barnett, since she implemented the program, sit down, talk with her. She's always got some really funny stories to talk about, as it relates to the LEAD Award, the LEAD program for students that she's worked with. I just wanted to talk briefly about the Greek organizations that we have on campus. We have 4 sororities on campus: Alpha Chi Omega, Alpha Gamma, Chi Omega, Delta Gamma. 3 fraternities: Phi Gamma Delta, Pi Kappa Alpha, Sigma Tau Gamma. There's a lot of ways to get involved as part of the Greek organizations that we have on campus. So the sorority houses are pictured there. Those were one of the most recent campus additions that we had to William Woods University. So Just want to briefly explain sort of how the process works, because there's a lot of ways to get involved through the Greek organization, a lot of leadership opportunities. They could be another academic resource for you. But sort of how the process works is you move into your freshman residence in August of whatever year you decide to enroll. And then you'll live in the freshman residence the entire first year. And then, basically move into your sorority house your sophomore through senior year. And so basically you're going to be able to meet friends and have that make friends and have friends that are outside of your Greek organization. So again, it just helps with the campus community, as being involved in Greek life, but also having friends that are outside of your Greek organization. Juliette, did you want to talk about the steps on how to apply?
Absolutely. So as you see, submit a pre-application, which is pretty awesome because you're already stressed out about being able to afford things. If you don't know what a FAFSA is, it's your pre-application for federal student aid, I believe. Sometimes you say an acronym so many times you just forget what it stands for. This is something that's going to take a little bit of time to do with your parents. So you might want to make sure you have 2 to 3 hours, maybe a little bit longer. The initial time that you submit the FAFSA takes the longest, but from here on out, then you're good to go for needing to update it. But this really helps with us being able to put together, as you can see later, for your transcripts. And after that, and your test scores, what kind of package we can offer for financial aid. So the first 3 are really critical, and I don't mean that in a stressful kind of way, but it just kind of gives you a leg up on making sure you get your foot in the door. You get those 3 things in, and then we work with you to put together a package that's going to make it so that you have an understanding of what to expect. And then the 4th one down there with the little piggy bank, as far as there are outside resources you can go to for other kinds of scholarships, and we can help you with that. We have all kinds of links. We have all kinds of ideas and ways. Some people forget even just about your little local business. Merchants, you have your banks, you have FFA, you have 4-H. There's lots of money out there that people forget about. So we kind of can help you think outside of the box and where else to solicit for scholarships and getting that tuition paid down. And then also getting your class registered, and by the time summer finishes, you're ready to move in, and we can help you with that process too. So the sooner you can make this start to happen, October 1st is when the FAFSA opened up. So you can go online, and I think Trevor will probably have a link for that. Or I know for sure on our website there's a link for all of this. But you don't want to procrastinate in this. Probably want to get everything done between February and March, so that you can give your parents an indication that you're leaving, but that you're going to somewhere great, somewhere in the Midwest if you decide to choose us. So follow the icons, and we're here to coach you along. Anything else, Trevor?
Yeah, no, that was great. I'll talk about I'll give more information in the next couple of slides about the FAFSA, but if you just want to talk about the test optional pathway, and I can add to that afterward. So
actually, I may have to go back to you on this one, but the 2.5 GPA, that's kind of standard across the board, free online application. We've already talked about the Common App. If you're familiar with using this with your phone, and then it'll open up. And then the rolling admission, what that means is there is not a deadline, so you can think about it and then apply anytime. So after this video conference that you've seen here, you decide tonight you want to go online and apply, that's great. We're going to take it. And then we just take it from there, and we start receiving your information. The test optional, I think in the past, we used to have to ask for tests. Is that correct, Trevor? And now, because of COVID, we don't want to have to make people spend money that they don't have right now. Mm-hmm. Is that true?
Yeah. So essentially, it's just we're trying to provide options for students that maybe were affected by COVID and they weren't able to take the ACT or their SAT. And so we're providing that pathway. So if a student wasn't able to take the SAT, then we will still admit them and work with them through the scholarship awarding process. Ideally, we want to see above a 2.5 GPA to get you admitted. And then once we get and I wanted to highlight this QR code. If any of you have a smartphone handy, go ahead and scan that. You can submit a quick application. It only takes literally a couple minutes. Go ahead and start that process, and then you send your transcripts after that. So each admission counselor is going to be able to give you more information as to, what your scholarship offer is going to be once we get your application and your transcript. If you do have an ACT or an SAT, you can send that, and we'll include that with the review process, but we certainly don't want to hurt students that weren't able to take the test due to COVID. So yeah,
and
that's
and in case you guys were wondering, also on the ACT and SAT, some people have taken it more than once to raise their points, and we take all of that, and then we work that into the packet for the financial aid letter / award. So if you have questions about whether you can take it more than once, yes, you can, and then you just send us the results. So
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. So financial aid and scholarships, I know we're coming up on the last couple minutes. I want to make sure we can get to our Q&A. So we give scholarships to 100% of our students that we're admitting. So we're proud of that number. We can stack your merit and athletic scholarships to ensure that the maximum awards are met. Our emphasis through the financial aid process is affordability. So make sure you contact me, contact Juliette, and work with us through the FAFSA and the financial aid awarding process. We will make sure that we get you all the scholarships that you're eligible for. The honors program does provide a housing stipend for $1,000 per year. You qualify for that with a 26 ACT and a 3.25 GPA. It does require a separate application. And then, yeah, the free application for federal student aid, the link is here. I don't know if you can click on it or not, but it's free to submit. Make sure you don't pay for that. It opens October 1st of your senior year. So apply as soon as you possibly can, whenever you can work with your family to get that information set. We'll start sending cost information out in, our goal is mid-November, so that we can get you absolutely the most time available to sort of look at all of your options and work with us through the process. Take note if you're eligible for work study and apply right now, one or two scholarships, outside scholarships a week. By the end of the school year, it's really going to pay off for you. If you want to learn more, I wanted to highlight I mentioned the campus event we have this Friday and Saturday. We have another Discovery Day that's just a general visit event in November 13th and the 14th. So go on the website, schedule a visit for that. If you want to fill out just an inquiry, general information, get it on the mailing list, scan this QR code, go to the website, contact your admission counselor, and we'll be glad to help you guys through the process. A big piece to the college search is, getting on campus and understanding what your options are going to look like. And so with that, we've added social distancing protocols and things like that for our campus events. But we're also holding virtual events. As you see with these, we're always happy to schedule and accommodate a virtual Zoom meeting. Even if you wanted to meet with a faculty member via Zoom, we can certainly set that up for you. So, just wanted to give my thanks for everyone that's joined us this evening. I know we're coming up on the next minute or so. I wanted to make sure that I checked the Q&A before this stop, just to make sure we didn't miss any of those. So Juliette, did I miss anything? I know we're looking forward to this event that's happening on Friday and Saturday.
No, Trevor, I think you covered it. I do know that you had done your own personal virtual tour that I believe is on our website, and I think more of our tours are being loaded up there. So keep checking our website so you can get a lot more information than what we were able to provide in this 45 minutes. Yeah,
it does go by quick, right? Make sure if you're on Instagram, give us a follow. We post daily. It's going to give you an inside look as to what your campus, your student life aspect is going to be like at William Woods University. We've done current student takeovers where they're sharing their stories on our story. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We're on a lot of different social media channels because, again, with COVID and everything that's happened with that, we want to make sure that we get you guys all the information that you're looking for, and it's going to be helpful for you in your college search, because there's a lot of good colleges out there. William Woods is one of them, and we'll be glad to help you guys throughout the college search. So I think with that, I'll turn it over to the facilitator, Sylvia. And again, thank you guys.
Thank you, Trevor, and thank you, Juliette. Great presentation. Thank you for joining us this evening. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick, I promise, quick 4-question survey. If you can provide any feedback for us, that would be great. And then again, this is just one of many sessions happening over the next few weeks. Please feel free to visit IACAC.org to sign up for any additional sessions. And then lastly, the recording of this session will be available within the next week or so on that same website, IACAC.org. So if you'd like to share this great presentation about William Woods with anyone, you'll be able to do that. Thank you so much to everyone and have a wonderful evening. Bye.